Destination nowhere. Look for me, I'll be there. Makes a wish.
All right, welcome back to 3 Minutes to Windshield, baby. Yeah! All right, I want to talk to you about something. This is kind of bothering me a lot. We bought some real good equipment this year to do podcasts. Right now I'm shooting on GoPro 10s. They're working out great, really cool. I bought some Sony cameras. I wanted to go with Sony. I did a lot of research rather than going with Canon or other companies. I really felt that Sony had a very good sensor, and it was a full frame. I bought the Sony A7 R4, full frame, good lenses, Sony lenses. They're really good quality in a lot of ways, but one of the problems is they gave me the wrong kind of camera, they're telling me. Sony needs to back up what they say. I went to my favorite camera store, which is ProCam out in Aurora. ProCam is a fantastic store, good people, very knowledgeable. Their prices are always right in that ballpark, and I like buying local if I can. So, ProCam, I had a special at the very end of April. They had Sony guys come in, they were doing Sony discounts, Sony giveaways, Sony this, that, and the other. And I was on the fence. Should I go Canon, because my daughter loves Canon, or should I go Sony? And they really convinced me Sony was the way to go. Now, I was wanting to get an FX3 or an A6600, but they didn't have those in stock. And the Sony representative goes, hey, you know what? This A7 R4 will do your long podcast. And I'm like, really? Because some people said that it wouldn't. And you're like, no, it'll do it without a problem. And it'll go up to like 3 hours. So I'm like, well, we do 2, 3, 4 hour podcasts. If it does 3 hours, it's gonna hit almost everything I want. So I end up buying 2 of them, 2 Sony A7 R4s. And I gotta tell you, I like the cameras, but we didn't have our studio set up yet. So we left them in the box. I took them out just to make sure they turned on and off, took a few pictures, and maybe 2 minutes, 5 minutes worth of video, nothing long. And so then last week, we're putting we got them on the tripods, we got it all set up, we got our sound completely wired up now, everything looks great. The one is running fine, the other one is overheating every 30 minutes. And I'm like, oh crap, what's this? Because, it stopped us 3 different times on 3 different tries for podcasts. It really sucks, because I don't know if you've done podcasts before, but in the long form especially, you want the flow. Your first few minutes, you're kind of out of the box, you're doing what you can to keep it motivated, and then you start following whatever that path is, and it's great. It's really fun. But when you get interrupted, or when it stops recording, it sucks. So after 3 or 4 interruptions, we're like, you know what, let's find out what's going on. So my tech guys started going on the internet. They started looking at things. They couldn't figure it out. They looked at the settings. They looked at all the other stuff. And they finally called Sony. And the first rep says, yeah, the A7 R4 cameras will not do long form. They're not designed for it. They will not do it. They're going to overheat after about a half hour every time. And we said, well, we went down to 1080. We're not even doing 4K. You're like, doesn't matter. It's going to overheat every single time. Doesn't make a difference. And so we're like, well, that sucks. But he said, well, you could put the overheat setting off. So if you put the overheat setting off, then you can run it hot. And I'm like, I don't know. Burning out a really good camera because we're not using it the way it was intended doesn't make sense to me. So I went back to ProCam and I said, ProCam, hey, we called Sony and they said that these are the wrong cameras that were recommended by the Sony rep in your place. ProCam, you got to stand behind this. You got to fight for me. You got to make sure that this gets taken care of. I spent a lot of money at your place. And they're like, I'm sorry, but you're past the 30 days where we can't do anything about it. It's a warranty. You should talk to Sony. I'm like, no, that's not okay. When I buy something that costs that much money, because I spent about 10 grand on the 2 cameras with lenses, I expect them out of the box to work. They're like, I don't know about this, that, and the other. And so I talked to Eric. Eric talked to the boss. The boss said, you got to talk to Sony. I said, Eric, you know Sony better than I do. You're a rep. you talk to them and let me know, and I'll try and talk to them too. But you gotta come to bat for me. I spent a ton of money on this stuff, and if it's the wrong stuff, I gotta get the right stuff. So, anyways, I ended up leaving there last Friday. Eric's gonna be in today. We're gonna call him and find out if he knows any more information, which I'm guessing like 99.9% is like he didn't even call. But if he did, it'll be like, well, we can't do anything about it. So, in the meantime, I've had one of my techs calling up daily. Finally, yesterday, we got some kind of warranty number or fix-it number. I'm not sure what you call it with Sony. And so they're gonna come and try and repair it. My question is this: why did your rep tell me it would work and it doesn't work? That's not cool. It's still a brand new camera. I haven't used it even 5 hours. This totally sucks. You guys are terrible. Ah!
What are your symptoms?
Sony, stand behind your product. Your rep made a mistake. He told me that it would work and it doesn't work. Then the person on the line said, no, they all overheat. They can't do hours of video at a time. I don't know who to believe anymore. All I do know is this: I want you guys to stand behind your product, stand behind the rep, and say, you know what? It was a wrong recommendation. Let's get you the right camera. I'll pay the difference. This is what I'm thinking. And this is a difficult thing for me to say. Sony, let's be reasonable. Let's do a fair business practice here and make things right. If you can't, and I'm doing podcasting, I'm gonna have to start pushing people toward Canon instead or something else. Because if you won't stand behind your product, it makes me very difficult for me to encourage other people to use your product. So let's not do that. I like Sony. I've always liked Sony. I've liked everything I've bought from Sony ever. This is the very first time that Sony has really screwed me. So I need you to do the very best you can to talk to me and get this right. Ciao.